because they just.
So today's holiday look is Juneteenth, and I believe that today's episode we are on is. Let me check. Aaron Hernandez. Nope, prom mom.
We don't know exactly what Melissa told her parents, but we do know that she did not tell them that she was pregnant.
Honey? Melissa, you okay? Yes. I'm fine. Okay. Well, good night. I love you.
Melissa's parents allegedly don't suspect that anything is wrong.
Often I'm thinking, how did the mom not know? But I could see that getting hidden because the legs are looking thin and the face is looking thin and it's just in the belly.
Best friend Rebecca is unaware of Melissa's condition and reportedly doesn't notice any physical changes in her.
Can I get popcorn? Oh, you will never catch me popping out babies. You don't want kids? Screw that. Kids totally wreck your body. You do? Maybe.
Rebecca later would say that Melissa didn't look pregnant at all.
The Lacey Township High School senior prom is set for June 6, 1997.
Best friend Rebecca and Melissa decide they're going to plan to try on prom dresses.
Ooh. What do you think about this one? I really like it. Oh my gosh. What do you think about this one? It's perfect. You're so lucky. Everything looks good on you. Let's go try them on. I don't know. Oh, come on. Absolutely.
In news reports, Rebecca told reporters that she didn't see any sign of Melissa's pregnancy. She just saw a little bit of normal weight gain.
Too tight? I can get you a bigger size, honey. Do you want a size 4? No. Strippers. Jammed. Besides, I don't like this dress anyway. Is it going okay over there? I haven't heard from you in a minute, Melissa. Girl, you ought to see this dress. It is not good on me. Ooh, I've got to get something way smaller.
Melissa is able to keep her pregnancy hidden at home and school by wearing certain types of clothes.
Any large sweatshirt or oversized sweater is going to cover that perfectly. And even something with a band on the bottom.
Hungry much? No, I just skipped breakfast. That's all. Ignore it.
According to reports, no one actually suspects that Melissa is carrying a baby.
Jeez, Melissa, you're getting fat, you're getting pregnant. Probably pregnant. Rude.
Even Melissa herself seems to be in a state of denial.
I have been in a number of cases where mothers have actually seen their daughters naked within a day or two of the delivery of the baby, and their own moms did not recognize that their daughters were in fact pregnant.
In 1997, New Jersey teenager Melissa Drexler hides her pregnancy from her parents, boyfriend,
Melissa
and high school
Drexler.
friends.
That's who it is. Never heard of her.
She is on her way to her high school's senior prom, and Melissa is in active labor.
It was what we call a dissociative disorder, that young ladies that go through this process disassociate themselves from reality and don't believe that there's going to be a birth.
By the way, today's makeup look is Juneteenth.
Oh, Mr. Harris. Sorry, John.
I hope he brought his crystal ball so I could get my future prediction.
Oh, you're living it, though. This is the future, John.
Yeah, you guys, that's true, huh?
For a young girl to think that they could go through this on their own is not a realistic thought whatsoever. With the pain and the emotional, physical changes to your body, it's too much. And I think the access to delivery in a hospital and or medical care is needed 100%.
Are you okay, baby?
Yeah.
All right, good. Good.
Melissa was really close to giving birth at this point. She was in labor and her water had broken, but her friends had no idea what she was going through.
Lacey Township High School holds its senior prom in a banquet hall, more than 45 miles from the school's campus.
It's a long drive to Aberdeen, New Jersey from Melissa's home, and she's never given an interview about that night. So we can only guess what must have been going through her mind.
Melissa arrives at the prom and immediately heads to the restroom. John waits for Melissa to join him, unaware that she's in the bathroom about to give birth to their child.
Melissa's boyfriend, John Lewis, would later testify that he had no idea that she had gone into labor. He didn't even know she was pregnant.
At the prom, Rebecca later would say that Melissa didn't look pregnant at all, and many of the other girls said the same thing.
Other girls were coming and going, maybe adjusting their flowers or their clothing, and they noticed certain things that were odd.
Prom guests later attest to hearing strange sounds coming from one of the stalls. One student later tells Newsweek she thought the sound was one of a couple having sex.
It's come to my attention.
Melissa, are you in here? Are you okay?
It's come to my attention.
Yeah, I'm fine. Are you sure? You've been gone a while. Yes, I'll be out in a second.
Got dogs.
All right. See you in a minute.
A young woman, first of all, unmarried, makes no plans, nothing. So it's like this isn't even happening to me. I'm not pregnant. I don't know anything about this. All of a sudden, nature takes its course, and especially in Melissa's case, she never told the boy, as I understand it, in his statement, we have no reason to disagree, is that he thought she was putting on a little weight, perhaps, but she never said anything, and I didn't notice anything. All of a sudden, here we go.
She'll be out in a minute. She's just fixing her makeup.
Melissa Drexler has been gone from her friends at the prom for a significant amount of time, and now they are growing concerned.
People did know that Melissa was in the final stage of labor, and then she began pushing.
Alone in the stall, Melissa attempts to give birth to her baby.
Giving birth alone is extremely painful. There can be significant blood loss, hormone changes, fluid shifting, and chemical changes that can affect her physically as well as mentally and emotionally.
Other young women reportedly see blood dripping on the floor while Melissa is in the stall.
It's just a horrible situation. It's a recipe for a disaster, and it is a disaster.
Meanwhile, out on the dance floor, students are oblivious to the horror unfolding in the girls' bathroom.
frightened, bleeding, scared, afraid that she's brought shame and disgrace to herself, to her family, and now has this thing coming out of her that she doesn't want, doesn't understand.
After nearly half an hour, Melissa gives birth to a baby boy weighing just over 6 pounds.
Melissa cuts the umbilical cord using the sharp edges of a metal trash container in the stall.
Experts have learned what goes through the mind of someone who dissociates.
When they do give birth, there isn't a recognition that it's a living person.
They think of it as a foreign body, something that isn't wanted, and so when it comes out, it's a relief, but then if it makes a noise, it's not a wanted noise.
Melissa then applies pressure to the neck of her newborn son. There's the horrific news.
Did you know your girlfriend was pregnant? I think Melissa's been hiding a horrible, horrible secret from you.
She said she felt sick. That was all.
No, John. She had a baby. Tonight. In the bathroom.
Is Melissa okay? Is the baby okay?
No.
I want to see Melissa. Where's Melissa?
No, John. She's not here. She had to go to the hospital.
While Melissa was being treated, authorities called her parents, and they had no idea she was even pregnant.
What? No, that's ridiculous. My daughter is not pregnant. You must have the wrong girl. I'm Melissa with Yes. Yes, we can go to the hospital to clear this up right now. Mm-hmm. They think she's pregnant.
What? How's that? How can that be?
I don't know. Someone from the school said something about her and a baby at prom, and we have to go to the hospital to clear this up because it is ridiculous.
As Melissa is released from the hospital, an autopsy is underway on her baby boy.
They wanted to determine whether the baby was stillborn or whether there was a live birth and a death.
Will the autopsy reveal that the baby was born deceased, or that he was alive and that his mother murdered her newborn son?
Kroger delivery is always fresh because we check our produce at every stop on its journey to you. We're fresh every day, so shop anyway. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
If you was somewhat. Which is the term used most often?
There's a way to get a guy's attention, huh?
My mission in life.
Look at the way they feel the music.
They're feeling it all right.
I'll have to teach you a few things. I would lie down in front of a tank that would stop this war.
What would you know, Brittany?
I'd know if you were clean.
I'll give up all this stuff if I get to keep my name. I work too hard for it.
2:30 tomorrow. Bring the tights.
What?
Red, black, and green. Start with red.
Melissa Drexler's baby is found dead in the trash at her senior prom. What everyone wants to know is, was he alive when he came into the world, making Melissa a cold-blooded killer? Authorities come to a conclusion. The autopsy shows that the baby was indeed born alive, strangled, and then suffocated.
If the baby were alive, born alive, depending on how the death was caused, then you have a criminal issue.
A birth certificate was issued and a death certificate. If it had been a stillborn, there would have just been a death certificate. The Drexler family named the baby boy Christopher, and they had a private burial.
When word got out that a baby had been born and killed at the prom, the other students were shocked and sad. Some of them even wore white ribbons to memorialize the baby.
Some students are more callous, however. High school staff are presumably concerned about the negative attention the school is receiving.
How could she conceal this from the boyfriend? From her own mother? Slow down.
Some people are such good liars, they convince themselves.
This is going to ruin our school. This is not who we are.
On June 24th, 1997, 18 days after Melissa Drexler kills her baby, she is charged with murder.
Well, the key thing in every criminal case is determining the criminal intent of the defendant. And if the state can prove criminal intent, as a defense attorney, you got to figure out, can you keep your client out of jail? If you can't keep your client out of jail, how do you limit the client's exposure to jail?
Melissa's attorneys argue before a judge that she didn't know what she was doing when she was giving birth.
It was what we call a dissociative disorder, that young ladies that go through this process disassociate themselves from reality and don't believe that there's going to be a birth. That was the psychological aspect of it. The mitigating factors here, obviously, were her age, the fact that she had no prior record, the fact that there was a psychological defense all weighed in her favor. Against her was the fact that there was a dead baby.
That's when Melissa Drexler became known as the prom mom, and the media attention kicked into high gear.
Melissa is released from jail on a $50,000 bond. She returns home, where journalists are camped out in front of the family's house.
There was no press conference, and there was no word from Melissa Drexler.
I think that the media attention, which was over the top in a lot of ways, woke up a lot of people.
More than a year after the death of her baby, Melissa Drexler agrees to a plea deal, aggravated manslaughter instead of murder, with a maximum sentence of 15 years.
I knew I was pregnant. I concealed the pregnancy from everyone. I went to the prom, I went into the bathroom and delivered the baby.
When Melissa read her statement in court, she was very quiet and barely audible.
I then took trash bags and covered it around the baby and put the baby in a trash can. I was aware of what I was doing when I placed the baby in the trash.
She was extraordinarily remorseful, and it did get a positive response from both the prosecutor and the judge. I recall the judge saying at the time that he had compassion for what happened here, that Ms. Drexler was not a monster.
We still put her in jail. There had to be a punishment, I think. And I don't know how she feels about it, but my conscience is clear on it.
She got a 15-year sentence, which at the time was
and this is your Juneteenth
the harshest sentence that had been given out, certainly